Are you ready? Because now it's time to meet the real star of our show and living proof that the Troma system really is a breakthrough self-help program. Here he is, America's favorite hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength with a radiation level nearing dangerous. Let's give a warm, glowing Troma system welcome to the Toxic Avenger, Toxic!
All right, this is Pixel Protocol. I'm here with probably the most prominent Toxic from Toxic Avenger from parts 2 and 3. Probably one of the nicest guys from Troma you'll ever meet as well. So how are you doing today at Raleigh Supercon?
I'm glad to be here, and I was glad that you contacted me to do this interview. It's awesome. It's just nice to kind of relive some of the old days. We did the movies back in 1988, 89, and I think it's really cool to see how there's still some fans out there that I could kind of relate to.
Like I told you, I was born at the end of 88, and it still reached me back in like 93, 94.
Yeah.
So ever since then, it's stuck with me. Most people's memories are like Aladdin or like The Lion King, Simba being held up.
Yeah.
Mine was you taking the little person, ball him up to a basketball, dribbling him, and slam dunking
Slam
it.
dunking him, yeah.
So
that was awesome. That was pretty cool. He was pretty heavy. He was heavier than you thought.
Really?
Yeah. I can't think of his name right now, but he was a tough mother.
So you were actually a bouncer before you got discovered.
Yes.
How did you get discovered in the bouncing scene?
Well, even before that, I played pro football.
Okay.
And with a couple of friends of mine, we moved up to North Jersey, and we started to kind of get into Manhattan, and you kind of meet people and ask around and wondering, hey, let's make some money. Maybe we could get in as a bouncer, and a couple of us did. So it was actually kind of fun because you had a job at night instead of being like an out-of-work actor doing the waiter and waitressing jobs. I was an out-of-work actor being a bouncer. But that was my play into the Toxic Avenger, because while I was working at the nightclub, and I can't think of the name of it, but one of the coat check girls was saying she was going to be in a movie, and that sounds cool. So I asked her about what it was, and she said it was a Toxic Avenger. She was going to be an extra. And I said, what is the address or phone number? Maybe I could go check it out. And that's what I did. I went to go check it out, and I walked in there, and I'm about, 6'3", almost 6'4", I think. And they said, we need a guy like you. Come on in here. Now, they had already hired John Altamura, who was I guess you would say, the first team Toxic Avenger, but they hired me as a second team fill-in type of Toxic Avenger. So that, again, football, bouncing, now we're in acting. So it was really kind of neat. It was just like it flowed through. So I actually was hired as the second string, if you use a football term, Toxic Avenger.
Now, how did the auditioning go? I know they say Lloyd's pretty particular about auditioning. You have to do it over and over. Even come in and stand around if you don't get hired, just to see if you can audition again.
I have to admit, he asked me if I wanted to do the job, and I said yeah.
And that's all it took.
There was no auditioning. So, I mean, I don't want to make it seem like Lloyd is a pushover. He's not. But he saw that I was a bigger guy and could fill in those parts that he might need. And then I asked if I could do another part that might be able to show my face. And
So you went over to Japan, which is probably the most crazy location a Troma film's taking place in as far as travel. And how was that going to Japan and dressing up as Toxic and walking around?
That was a great experience. Okay, first the plane trip was a long plane trip, and it was really a pain in the butt. But when we got there, the people were really treated us like Hollywood stars, treated Lloyd like a Hollywood director. So everybody really got VIP treatment. So now here I am in Japan, and you're tall also. A lot of people are in that culture are very short. So I was head and shoulders above everybody, and wearing that outfit, I mean, they thought I was a big Hollywood superstar. So a lot of them were, do you know Sylvester Stallone? You know, But that's just it. It was so nice how they treated us. I mean, they're so polite, and it was so neat to be able to experience some of their culture and learn some of the language. That was kind of hard, but the people that we dealt with in Japan were terrific.
You played tennis there and dressed as Toxie
Yes.
in Japan?
Yes.
Did you get any weird looks?
Yes, that's the thing. And, you know, you're wearing tights and a little tutu and the whole outfit, but, you know, getting a little... we saw it and we said, hey, there's a photo op. I don't know, did they get film on it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's like well, not the tennis, but you filming around in Japan, there's like a making of done in Japan with Japanese subtitles.
Yes, and I think they didn't use it, but there's like I said, the making of, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, we just sort of hit around. When you're hitting a tennis ball with one eye covered, I'm sure I missed it a lot, but I'm not that bad of a tennis player, but if you're walking around like this, you'll see playing tennis is hard to do, so. It was fun, and all of it was just almost like just laugh. Let's have a laugh. And that's, I think, what Lloyd and Michael were about.
That's what they're built on, basically.
Yeah. So just doing that stuff. One time I was just against a wall in one of the cities in Tokyo. There's, I don't know, a little building with an indentation, and I was just standing very still as Toxic Avenger. And there, I swear, there was girls, like, not girls, but like schoolgirls in uniforms coming up to see, what is this, a statue? And then I went, bah! You know, and they all jumped and ran. It was like little fun things like that were just it was just a great experience. So
this is it. Now I just gotta color in here, and color in here, and now a little Doko Doko monster.
And not to bring up a sore topic maybe, but I thought you had an issue with your on-screen wife's boyfriend at the time. You guys had to send him home on a bus, if I heard right.
You know, I think it just got... I had a great time doing this movie. I mean, it was like Halloween every day. You get your makeup on, you get all your whatever you needed to do. And now I don't know the actual details, but I know that Phoebe's boyfriend at the time might have had some issues, maybe anger issues. I'm not really sure how to phrase it because I didn't really know him that well.
I thought there was a little bit of jealousy too from like the topless scene or something, and he just didn't like that at all.
Exactly. So, and it happened to be a lot of the scenes were filmed with John Altamura, which was the first string Toxic Avenger guy, and I really wasn't too much involved with that. I had to do my other thing, the second string fill-in shots. But I did hear about this, and I knew that he was causing trouble, breaking things and ripping things apart, and they had to actually ask him to leave firmly. But some of the details on that one I don't know either, because I know that he was being a real a-hole, if you want to.
I want to say you're the only one that's not been replaced as far as, you know, being a dick on set and kicked off or having to have someone unreliable fill you in.
Exactly. I mean, we had a great time. I had a great time. And I wasn't going to let this opportunity pass because maybe an ego gets in the way. I went in there every day, put the makeup on, do what you need to do, and let's have some fun. And that's what I looked at it. Whereas, the Phoebe's boyfriend and maybe even John had some issues with some of the problems that you have to do. Got to get up early, got to sit in makeup for a long time, and I just didn't see it as a problem. So I'm not going to really speculate on what they felt, but there was some tense times that they went through, and I just felt like this is fun. I had a great time, and he provided us with a good place to stay. Not everybody, because there was a budget, and it was a very low budget. But I do remember the hotel up in Croton-on-the-Hudson, where we filmed a lot. We had about 10 guys staying in our room. We had 2 guys that were in the room, and then about 10 more guys were sleeping on the floor because we were all friends and said, yeah, come and stay with us if you want. Bring a sleeping bag and stay in our room. Because we didn't want them driving all the way back down to Manhattan or wherever and then sleep and then have to come back the next day or the next 2 days. So that's where we had so much fun. Being, the camaraderie of being on the set and being a team, I worked with Rick Collins, who was the devil in the movie on part 3, and he was the chairman in part 2. So he converted into he changed, and we were both saying, hey, let's take charge of this a little bit and let's let them stay with us, and it was a lot of fun. So we didn't sleep much, but we had a good time.
Did you ever have a favorite scene to film on that movie on part 2?
Oh gosh, good point, good question. Favorite scene? I don't know if we could say favorite scene here, because I just know that the time in the beginning, okay, yeah, one of those gory scenes where the PUS man comes in to blow up the house for the blind, and Toxic comes out and finds him and realizes that he's the guy who killed everybody, so he slams him into, the PUS man shoots the lady in the wheelchair. So Toxic Avenger sees that, and he grabs the PUS man, slams him into the wheelchair, stands behind it, and squeezes the wheelchair, and so all of his guts come out. And that was an incredibly great scene. I thought it was really neat how, because there was like two guys underneath me as I'm straddling them and squeezing the chair, and it really lined up pretty neatly with the pig guts coming out of the stomach. However, when he opened up his belly, you kind of see a little trap door there, I think. A little cheap effect, but that was one of the ones that really got scrutinized by the MPAA rating, because it was too gory, they said. So they kind of cut it down a lot. In the dailies, when we saw them, it was a lot of good guts coming out. When you
now it's like considered nothing as far as movies nowadays.
I know. I think they were extra hard on Troma being a non-union movie outfit, and I think that the MPAA rating is great now that it's an R, but they did cut a little bit too much out, that I thought.
You still keep in contact with Lloyd at all?
Only a little touch here on Facebook and some of the social media, but not really. I mean, if I get to New York, I would love to, say hello to him. I know he travels around, does some of these shows too, and they're into a lot of other things now. Toxic Avenger is probably put on the shelf. I heard, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I heard Hollywood is going to make a remake of Toxic Avenger, but he doesn't know and I don't know, so I've
been hearing that for a few years.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what they're doing with it, or if they are going to do with it, but if they do, it'd be great. And I was always wondering if I could get a little cameo in that, but we'll see.
I should appreciate your time. I'm sorry, I actually had to contact him on his personal Facebook, because your Twitter had one and only tweet, and it was something like, "I will not give my money to Kanye West."
That's right.
And I don't blame you,
I just got back onto Twitter now, because I still don't know what I'm doing on Twitter. I'm going to try to get better at it, but now I'm on Twitter. So
I don't blame you. You sell shirts with holes in it for $600. Toxic was doing it back in the 80s before it was cool or anything. So.
Yeah, put some acid on it or something, but
I really appreciate it. You've been awesome. Thank you for your time.
I really appreciate you being a fan.
Take a look around Raleigh Supercon. Get a shot of all the people. I mean, it's been a great time.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite one to meet right here. Most in-depth person I've had. And thank you again.
Appreciate it, Mike. That's great.